Hello and welcome to the webinar. Thank you for attending today. My name is Rich Harshaw and I will be conducting and presenting today. The topic, as you can see, the $10 million marketing and lead generation plan for remodelers. Might want to update this by the time we get to the end of the presentation. Might want to update it to the $20 million marketing and lead generation plan for remodelers, but we'll let that work itself out as we go through this. Would like to take a minute to thank our partner sponsors for participating in today's webinar. You can see their logos on the screen: Contractor Appointments, Active Prospect, Sales Transformation Group, the new RenoWorks Pro, and Zero. I'll be telling you a little bit about each of these companies as we go through today's webinar. Just remember that without these partner sponsors, there is no webinar. So you may want to reach out to them and say, hey, thanks a lot for inviting me to this. This is good information. Hopefully, I think you're going to like it. And like I said, we'll be hearing from some of these folks. I'll be talking about them a little bit later. So we're going to start with some math. A little caution for you here. We're going to do a little bit of math. So if math hurts your brain, if you're the kind of person that says, I don't really like math, it's only going to last a minute. So let's go through it. I want to tell you about my good friend Leland Smith. He owns a company called Service Champions out on the West Coast. He actually is now the chairman of the board of a larger company called the Champions Group that owns in the neighborhood of about 20 service companies, HVAC, plumbing, electric, things like that. But I want to tell you about his core company, Service Champions. And look, I know that you're probably in the remodeling space, not in the home services space. So what I'm going to show you is not exactly 100% applicable to you, but the concept that I'm trying to show you here is going to definitely be a big part of what we're going to talk about today. So in his line of work, this kind of service business, they have club memberships, okay? And in his particular company, they've got about 28,000 club memberships. Now, you probably know what this is. This is where you pay roughly $20 a month, something like that. And the air conditioning, heating company will come over to your house twice a year, do a tune-up in the spring, a tune-up in the fall. Then they'll give you some discounts on services. They'll give you front of the line priority, stuff like that. It's club membership. He didn't invent this process, but he has definitely perfected selling it and implementing it. Now, here's why I'm telling you about this, because out of those 28,000 club members, they're paying an average of $21 per month. Some are still on the old pricing of $20. They've raised the price to $22 within a year or so. They'll all be on $22, but at an average price of $21 per month, they've got $588,000 a month coming into their business every single month before the month ever starts. They can book it, they can lock it, they can load it. It just comes in. They don't really have to do anything. Now, a lot went into getting those 28,000 members, but as far as the running the credit cards goes, it's $588,000 per month. Now, out of that, they're going to do about 3,500 tune-ups per month. They're going to hit about 75% of their club membership base every 6 months to do these tune-ups. And out of those 3,500 tune-ups, about 15% of them are going to result in repairs that average about $1,200. And if you do the math on that, it's about $630,000 a month in repairs that's coming very specifically from these tune-ups that they're doing as a part of this club membership. Also, about 3% of those tune-ups are going to result in a replacement. It's like, hey, your unit is just shot, you need a new one. They average about $17,000. You do the math on that, about 1.785 million a month. Now, obviously, it's going to vary from month to month. It's not exactly 525 repairs and exactly 105, but that's about average. So here's the bottom line on this. They got about $3 million a month that comes into their business every single month. And here's the cool part. They can bank it every single month. And this is a picture. I actually took it. That would be weird if I actually took this picture. It's a stock photo, but it represents the first day of the month when you put your foot off the bed and onto the floor. These guys know that they're going to bank $3 million almost no matter what. It's already guaranteed because they've put this foundation into their business. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Not getting club memberships. That's a different industry for most of you. If you happen to be from the home services industry, it's a great model. And thank you for being on the webinar. Most of you though, probably in the remodeling industry, and you think, okay, well, how does that apply to me? And the answer is it applies to you. Now, before I show you how it applies to you, I want to introduce you to 3 of our 5 partner sponsors. I'm going to actually put a poll on the screen. Remember, there is no webinar today without these folks. So show them some love. I'm going to put a poll on the screen, and the poll is going to give you an opportunity to say which of these would you like to learn more about. I'm going to tell you about them briefly. Contractor appointments. I interviewed these folks on my podcast August 2nd, episode 1790. This is really, really cool. Contractor appointments. It's pretty much the best version of all the lead aggregator companies out there because, like their name says, you don't pay for leads, you only pay for appointments. They also have a model where you can pay based only on a percentage of the sales that come from those appointments. They've got 2 different options there. And here's a good part. I was going to say it's the best part, but the best part is that you get good leads and you're only paying for them when you're running the appointments. But here's also what's good. It's pay as you go. There's no minimums, there's no contacts, there's no setup fees. So if you want to learn more about them, just go ahead and click on the poll that you'd like to learn more about contractor appointments, okay? You can also find out about them at contractorappointments.com. Remember, it's affordable, pay for results, learn more by going to contractorappointments.com. Now, Sales Transformation Group, also interviewed them on the podcast number 1846 on September 27th, so not that long ago. This is a company that provides tailored sales training and coaching for commercial and residential contractors, including in-person and online learning. They've got technology and tools and live events, workshops, and conferences. They work with owners and sales leaders to build high-performing teams, implement proving processes, and foster a culture of accountability and success. These guys are the real deal. I would encourage you strongly to listen to Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast, episode 1846 from September 27th. You can hear me talk to Ryan Goff, hear all about what they're doing over there. They've had over 750 clients building high-performance sales teams. You can learn more about them at, so here's the web address, Sell on STG. STG stands for Sales Transformation Group, sellonstg.com. Or you can just Google Sales Transformation Group. You'll find them pop up, or just go ahead and click the poll and they'll reach out to you. Finally, in this group, let's talk about Remodelers. Talk to them, podcast number 1832 on September 13th. It's an AI-powered visualization solution that makes it simple to create instant and interactive photorealistic 2D and 3D visuals for projects. Okay, so hey, I wonder what your house is going to look like when you get a new roof, when you get the new siding, when you get these new windows. Boom, Remodelers Pro is going to show your customers exactly what it's going to look like. It turns it into a wow, and it turns it into a yes. It's affordable. They've got a new product called Remodelers Pro. It's an update from their old one. I'm not exactly sure to what extent, but you can look them up at remodelworkspro.com/level10. remodelworkspro.com/level10. It's a visualizer. It's awesome. It's amazing. And look it up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that poll and we'll continue. Thank you for your participation in that. Like I said, without these sponsors, there is no podcast. All right, so let me tell you about who I am. That's me right there, Rich Harshaw. I'm the founder and author and CEO, Level 10 Contractor. Started this business in 1994. It'll be 30 years in about 2.5 weeks. November 9th will be our 30-year mark in business. Founded in 1994, started specializing in remodeling home services in 2005. We worked with some of the biggest and most successful companies in the industry, companies that you might be aware of. Took Horizon Services from $44 million when we started working with them to $150 million. They sold out to private equity. That was a big deal. Service Champions, another company, I just mentioned them to you, Leland Smith, that went through that whole iteration. Started working with them at about $30 million in sales, roughly 9 or 10 years ago. They're now up well over $100 million in sales. Also worked with 1-800-Hansons. You might know Brian Elias. He's been on my podcast several times, a good friend of mine. They sold out to private equity a few years ago, $80 million at the time. Now, Brian Elias has started a new company, Refloor, and, boom, off to the races again. The guy is amazing. These are the kinds of companies that we've worked with. Renewal by Anderson, we work with their corporate headquarters doing marketing on behalf of, I think it's like 7 or 9, I can't remember, company-owned locations that they have. But also, we work with smaller companies, specialized working in the range of $5 to $20 million. That's our sweet spot. elite companies that are doing great, that are trying to grow. This is the kind of companies that we work with. We're an elite level marketing agency. We build websites, we do SEO services, digital advertising services like pay-per-click, Facebook advertising, stuff like that. TV and radio, we do about $12 million a year in billings on behalf of our clients combined in TV and radio. Also, we do quite a bit in streaming advertising, okay? As you can see on the screen, wrote a book called Unlocking Unlimited Lead Flow. Here's what I want you to know. We know what we're doing. We're good at this. I've got a team of experts that are amazing. Like I said, we're an elite company, and we work with elite contractors, okay? If you want to look us up, Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast, over 1,800 episodes. It's literally a daily podcast. There's something on there every single day that's going to help you learn more about marketing for contractor business, okay? So here's what I'm going to show you to do. I'm going to show you how to build a $1 million a month foundation just from Google. Remember the example I gave earlier? You put your foot on the floor, first day of the month, you've got $1 million coming into your business. How would you like to have a $1 million a month, not a year, $1 million a month foundation? Now, whatever you want to do beyond that foundation, so do the math, $1 million a month, that's a $12 million a year company. And that is going to be only using Google. Now, I'm not telling you should only use Google. I'm not telling you that the only thing that's going to generate leads for you is Google. I'm telling you, you can build a $1 million a month foundation for your business just strictly only from Google. Then if you want to do shows and events, boom, go above $1 million. You want to buy leads from somebody like contractor appointments, boom, go up over $1 million. You want to do canvassing, you want to do TV and radio advertising, all of it, great stuff. I encourage it. But here's what I want you to know. You can build this foundation that first day of the month, foot on the floor, knowing that you've got this coming in. This can be accomplished from Google, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot of other things that we could talk about. We only have an hour. We can't talk about everything. We're going to talk about Google. It's a simple plan. It looks like this: 50 quotable leads a month from organic search, SEO, 50 quotable leads from Google Business Profile, GBP, Google Business Profile, which is part of an SEO effort. Trust me, there's a bunch of agencies out there that are saying, we specialize in Google Business Profile. We'll get you high in the maps. But if they're not using other SEO tactics and foundational building blocks to get you in the 3-pack in Google Business Profile, it's not going to work well. It's not going to work well. You're going to get destroyed by people that are doing it differently. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, next part of the plan, 50 quotable leads a month from pay-per-click Google AdWords. Okay, now, by the way, this should be considered minimum. This is not like, hey, you're going to max out at 50 quotable leads from organic search. No, this is the minimum standard. And then 50 quotable leads from LSA, Google Guaranteed. There you go, 50, 50, 50, 50. That's a total of 200 quotable leads per month that are coming in to your business as a result of doing things with Google. Here's the cool thing about it. These are non-competitive quotable leads. What does that mean? Non-competitive means if you're not buying them from the aggregator, they're not being sold to a bunch of other people. So you're having to, try to beat them to the punch and get there first. I mean, you should have speed to lead anyway, but these are non-competitive quotable leads. Quotable leads. I'll talk about quotable leads in just a minute. Simple plan. Let me show you how it works. You've got 200 leads coming in, 90% set rate, so that's 180 out of the 200. Now you might look at that and you might say, well, I don't know if we can set 90%, Rich. We don't set 90% of our leads. Correct. You don't set 90% of your leads because you're probably buying them from aggregators. You're getting canvassing leads. All of that is great. They're going to have lower set rates. These are leads that are coming in from people that are looking for you. They're going to go through something that we call the lead conversion engine. I'll talk about that at the end of this webinar. So definitely stick around to hear about the lead conversion engine to make sure that the leads that you get number one set, and then they number two get closed, okay? 90% set rate, very doable, 33% closing ratio on the sets, so that's 59. If you've got an average sale of 17,000, which honestly seems a little bit low given the prices of things, the contractors that we work with, 17,000 would be considered maybe low to average, okay? That's $1 million a month right there. 200 leads, 90% set, 33% close, $17,000 average, it's $1 million a month. Boom, there's your $1 million a month foundation right there. And these are going to cost you about $120 to $180 per quotable lead, okay? Now it's going to take you 6 to 12 months to build up to getting that kind of lead flow in. So it's not something that you start and 10 seconds later, you've got that much lead flow. Although I am going to show you an example at the end of this webinar of a company that started and 10 seconds later, more specifically about 45 days later, was at 174 quotable leads. It's not that hard to do if you know how to do it, okay? That's the plan, okay? Now, here's what a quotable lead is. When we work with our clients, I don't know what your SEO or website provider is doing, but this is how we work with our clients. We've got an email that comes to you anytime a lead comes in. If it comes in via phone, via forms, via text message, via however it comes in, you're going to get an email that says you just received a phone call, if it's a phone call. And you see right here, this lead came from Google My Business. Great. And here's the information. You can listen to the recording here. And then you, the business owner, the business that's getting this lead, you can click on this. Is this a quotable lead? So when I'm talking about leads, I'm not talking about, hey, somebody filled out a form. Yeah, well, it's some jackass trying to sell you toner cartridges. That would be a no. If you listen to this message and the guy's like, hey, I want to sell you toner cartridge, boom, you click no. It doesn't count as part of these 200 leads I'm talking about. This is actual leads. Here's what our data says. Our data says that about 50 to 55% of leads, raw leads that come in are quotable. Only about 50 to 55%, which means about half of them are not quotable leads. So you might be getting data from your SEO company that says, we generated 50 leads for you. In reality, it was only 20 or 25 or 30, not 50. When I talk about leads, the only thing that I'm ever going to talk about is quotable leads. And I'll put that qualifier in there every single time. Quotable leads, here's what that means. It means that you can actually quote it. All right. Now here's another example. This is a web form, and you can see here's the information. Here's the message from the customer. Hey, I'm listing my house for sale soon. My realtor suggested we get a new roof. I have some questions. Took some photos. Do you have an email address? Because I can't send them through the form. Boom. That's a quotable lead. Click yes. Boom. Quotable leads. Okay. So when I'm talking about leads, I'm talking about quotable leads. Whoops. Let me show you some examples. Okay. So I've redacted the name of this customer because of privacy issues. This is a 90-day snapshot. You can see in the last 90 days, they got 140 direct leads from their website, 540 organic leads. These are quotable leads, okay? Phone calls, 226, web forms, 288, no chats, no text messages, not sure why they didn't get any of those, but 514. And then cost per click, they had 130. Here's another client of ours, giving you some ideas of larger, medium, and smaller kinds of companies. Here's one that had, this is for August 1st to August 31st. So it's a 1 month snapshot. They had 68 organic leads. That's over that 50 threshold. Google Business Profile, 91. Boom. They got 89 phone calls. These are, again, quotable leads. Show you another example here. This company had 101 organic leads, 47 phone calls, 54 web forms. Pay per click, they had 112, including 59 phone calls, 52 web forms, 1 text. That's weird. Another example, bigger company, again, 1 month snapshot, 276 organic leads, 239 pay per click. Now, these are going to be companies that have been around a little bit longer, that have done more work, have built up to this, but it's totally, absolutely doable to get this many what? What's the word? This is me with my hand up to my ear. Quotable leads coming in where? Well, from Google. Organic, pay-per-click. You saw earlier there was some Google Business Profile. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a number. Here's the number, 27. Here's what 27 is. We do website audits for companies that are interested in getting their Google game up to par, okay? Let's just say it this way. And we run their website through a series of evaluations. We evaluate it on 3 different sets of criteria. Each of those is evaluated on a 100-point scale, and then we average the 3 100-point scale numbers. And the average score that we see from companies that are getting their websites audited by us is 27 out of 100. 27 out of 100. This is my sort of dramatic pause here where I want you to realize that that's horrible. 27 out of 100 is terrible. This is an example of what it looks like. You can see the overall score is 18. It's a little bit below the average of 27. And you can see in these different areas, they range, scored 20, 26, and 9, averaged out to 18. So this would be an example of what that website audit looks like. And this is something that I'd like to offer you. If you'd like for us to do an audit of your website, just go to level10audit.com, or you can use your phone and do this QR code thing. It'll pull up on there a thing where you can schedule a time to talk to us. Then that'll initiate my team doing the website audit. Somebody will reach out to you and at the appointed time, and we'll talk to you about your website. So this is the foundational step in getting to this 200 quotable lead, comma, $1 million a month foundation in your business, is making sure that your website is right. And I'm going to walk you through how to do this as we go through the rest of this webinar. Everything up to this point is kind of, here's kind of how this is going to work. This is what the goal is. This is what we're trying to accomplish. Now I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to show you, well, here's how we actually do it. But one of the starting things that you're going to want to do is take advantage of this free website audit so we can take a look at your website and give you ideas and suggestions where it could be doing better, okay? So let's talk about Google. This is stuff that you probably maybe don't know specifically, but you probably know it generally. 99,000 searches per second on Google, 8.5 billion searches per day, 2 trillion searches per year. It's growing at a rate of 10% per year. 46% of the searches on Google have local intent, means that they're looking for something that is not, nationally or worldly available. Like for instance, a new window siding or roofing, kitchens, bathrooms, etc. 63% of those searches are going to come from mobile devices. Market share of Google in the search game is 91.5%, 91.5%. So here's why I'm showing you this. I want you to realize that all of these things that you're doing, running around out there trying to gather leads and find customers, if you will take some time and effort and focus on Google, okay? Remember the plan. SEO, Google Business Profile, pay-per-click, LSA, Google Guaranteed, 50, 50, 50, 50, that's 200. I ran through the conversion numbers. That's $1 million a month. It's available if you're in a market that is a top 100 market and you sell products that are normal products like window siding, roofing, baths, kitchens, siding, doors, whatever it is. There is enough traffic, enough searches for what you're trying to do, where you're trying to do it, that you can reach that threshold, and you can do it within a year. Absolutely, positively can do that. Now, I'm going to explain to you how Google actually works. Most people don't know this. Here's how it works. The first thing you need to know is that Google's not ranking websites. What it is doing is it's ranking web pages. It's looking for precise matches for precise searches. Okay, so if somebody goes in and searches car washes near me, it's going to look for web pages that have to do with car washes in that specific local vicinity. Likewise, if somebody goes in there and types in, if somebody types in roofing company near me, or siding near me, or I'm looking for a siding contractor, or I need new windows for my home, it's going to look for web pages that are specific to that search term and also that location. Your job is to create specific pages that are a precise match for specific searches, okay? The key is it's got to be very, very relevant, okay? Relevant how? Relevant to the terms and relevant to the geography, all right? So give you this analogy. This is one of my favorite analogies for SEO. You got to understand, it's like war, okay? This is a map of World War II battles in the Pacific Front. And this is personal to me. My grandfather was a Marine in World War II, and he fought in the Battle of Midway and the Battle of Iwo Jima. He's 99 years old. He's still alive. But here's what you need to know. When you're fighting a war, you don't just say, hey, here's an idea. Let's go fight the whole war. Nope. You've got to determine where do you want to fight, and then you have to send in specific troops specifically to fight at that specific time, okay? So that's the analogy. War is like SEO, and here's how that works when it comes to SEO, actually. You have to determine where you want to dominate. We call that geo. You got to determine what you want to dominate. That's going to be keywords. That's going to be things like roofing or siding or bathrooms or whatever it is that you happen to do, air conditioners, if that's your business. We call these geo keyword pairs, okay? Geo keyword pairs. Here's some examples. Roofing in Auburn, Washington. That's a geo keyword pair. Tub to shower conversions in Chula Vista, California. That's a geo keyword pair. The geo, Chula Vista, California. The keyword, tub to shower conversions. These are geo keyword pairs. So here's what you got to do. You've got to create what? Web pages that are like troops in the analogy. Stick with me here on the analogy. And when you put those onto your website, then boom, you've got troops that you're putting into the battle, okay? Create troops, put these into the battles. It's that simple. There's 3 kinds of troops or pages that you can put into your website. Here's what they are. There are 3. I'm just going to put them all on the screen. All right, there we go. So the first one is core pages, which is going to be the main navigation of your website. By the way, everything that I'm talking about right now is critically important to not only generating the SEO organic quotable leads, but also the Google business profile leads, also the pay-per-click leads, also the Google guaranteed leads. All of this is relevant, okay? So here's what we've got. We've got core pages, the main navigation of your website. They need to be identity based. I'll talk about that in a minute. They need to tell your story, make you the obvious choice. It actually matters what the pages on your website say. They need to be optimized, each page, for a broad geographic area plus keywords. Now, broad geographic area means if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you need to optimize those pages for Dallas-Fort Worth. If you're in the San Diego area, you optimize them for San Diego. If you're in the Orange County area, you optimize them for Orange County. And the reason is you want Google to understand and know that these pages, the main pages on your website, the core pages, are relevant for anywhere in that geographic area that you service, okay? But then we've got, you'll see here in red, service area pages and then also blog pages, right? Service area pages and blog pages, these are product pages. The service area pages are product pages for specific geos, okay? Optimized for specific geo keyword pairs. So if you remember just a minute ago, I said tub to shower conversions in Chula Vista, California. Now, Chula Vista, you probably don't know this because why would you? It's a suburb of San Diego. So instead of optimizing that page for San Diego, we optimize the page specifically for Chula Vista and specifically for tub to shower conversions. And here's the idea. It's a very simple idea. If somebody is Google searching for tub to shower conversions and they're in Chula Vista, and Google's going to know that because of their IP address, then Google's going to say, ding, 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 ding. Look, here is a page that is specifically optimized for that geo keyword pair. Boom, it pops up in the rankings very, very high. You now have traffic that you can now convert into leads. You can now convert your leads into appointments. You can now convert your appointments into sales. And then boom, this is part of how you get your what? $1 million a month foundation before you ever put your foot on the floor on the first day of the month. You can know this is going to happen because you've got these troops out there working for you, okay? Now, blog pages are similar. They're going to be based on terms that people are actually searching for. So, for instance, something like, how much does it cost to remodel my bathroom? That's a question people might ask. So we could write a blog post that is optimized against that search term. How much should I pay for a bathroom? And then we can write that for San Diego. We can write it for Chula Vista. We can write it for Escondido and other different places. Each battle needs its own troops, okay? So you'll notice that I've put this number 2 and number 3, I've put these in red. Why did I put these in red? Because I want to point out that these are special kinds of pages. These are what we would call special forces troops, okay? These are hyper-specific troops that are built for specific geo keyword pairs that are the key to you getting all of this traffic to your website and getting these quotable leads from organic search and from Google Business Profile, okay? So I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like. And to do this, I am going to go, well, here, I'll just show you this. If you type in tub to shower conversion, Chula Vista, California, boom, we want this to show up here. And I'm going to show you this in real life. Let me go over to the interwebs. Actually, I'm going to go to a different set of interwebs. Where is that set of interwebs? It is right, oh, it's right here, okay? So you'll notice here I'm on an incognito search. I've done that because if you're incognito, if you're not familiar, it hides your search history from Google so that Google won't be influenced by things that you've searched for before. So if I've been on Sugarman's Bath's website before, Google's gonna send me there as the top result. So incognito prevents that. That's why I'm in incognito. So look at this. Let's go over here. Tub to shower conversion, Chula Vista, California. And you'll see here, we've got the sponsored. We'll talk about those in a minute. This is pay-per-click. But then look what we've got here, Sugarman's Bath. And look what's coming up. 2 of the top 3 organic results are coming from what? They're coming from these service area pages that we put on this website. So check this out. Get rid of that. And you can see this right here. Service areas, Chula Vista, tub to shower conversion. This is a page, a troop that we specifically created so that people who are searching for tub to shower conversions, Chula Vista, will find us, Sugarman's Bath. This is my client. This is a company that we work with, that we build this foundation for, that I'm talking to you about. And you can come in here and you can take a look, okay? You can see that we've got this geo keyword pair in the URL. You can also see that it's down here in the content. And what we're trying to do, of course, is generate leads. Also, here's one, bathroom remodeling San Diego. And you can see, again, sponsored is right here. Boom, here's what comes up in the, what do you call this? The 3-pack. This is the Google business profile. So you can see that we're showing up here in the first position. That, my friends, is really, really good. As you scroll down, guess what you'll see? First thing that comes up. And we can do this for any kind of place in that area. We can come in here and say, bathroom remodeling, I don't know how to spell remodeling. Let's go to S. Well, my keyboard just broke. That's funny. Escondido. There it is. I don't know how to spell, but let's see what comes up. Okay. Oh, boom, right there. Sugarman's Bath. And here's what you'll see. Again, when you go to this page, service area page. These are the special forces that I'm talking about. All right. Does this make sense? This is what we're trying to do. This is how you build this foundation. It's one of those things that it's easy to understand, but in real life to execute this, for some reason, most SEO companies, they just don't execute this very well. In fact, they mostly suck. I can't tell you why. I can just observe that they do. All right, let me go back to our presentation. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Okay, so let's keep going here. Tub to shower conversion. Here's what you need to know. The more pages that you create, the better your chances. So here's what happens. Most websites begin with about 30 to 60 core pages. And those core pages are going to say like, hey, here's, remember the Better Business Bureau. Here's some images, some photos, some galleries of some photos that we've taken. Here's information about our products that we sell. Okay, those are the core pages. In fact, let me just go back over there real quick. These right here are going to be the core pages. So we got shower pages, we've got bathtub pages, walk-in tubs, why us, all that kind of stuff. Those are the core pages, all right? Most sites begin with 30 to 60 core pages. Then you add the service area and blog pages that are optimized for specific geo keyword pairs, like we just talked about. The more properly optimized pages that you add, the better chance you have of winning, okay? If you don't have these pages, here's the news that you need to take away from today's webinar. You will lose. You will lose, and you will lose badly. You will lose badly because you've got competitors that are doing this. And if you're not doing this, they're going to get the traffic and you're going to not get the traffic. And then you're not going to have the $1 million a month found. And you're going to be, I need to go to more shows. I need to buy more leads. I need to, do more canvassing, all of which, again, is awesome. Do it if you've figured it out. But why not build the foundation of $1 million a month, people? Come on, let's do it. Here's what we found. 50% of the websites that we audit have fewer than 10 special forces troops in them. Let me give you an example. You can see that we just audited this in September this year, so it's fairly recent. They had 28 core pages. You can see that right up here. And they had 0 blog pages, 0 service area pages, 3 miscellaneous pages, total 32. Now, I can look at this right here, okay? All I have to do is look at this part of the audit and see that they have 0 special forces blogs, 0 special forces service area pages. And here's what I know without knowing a single other thing about this website. They're losing. They're losing, and they're losing big time. That's it. They're losing. Here's another one. Example. You can see their overall score is 17. Here's some of the other scores. This one was done back in June. Check this out. Right up here. 31 core pages, 0 blog pages, 0 service area pages. Again, this is about 50% of the sites that we see don't even have the troops. So they're losing. Now, here's what happens. They get sold a lie by the company that builds their website. They're like, hey, we're going to build you this awesome website. It's going to look great. People are going to love it. They're going to tell you how beautiful it is. Okay, great. But here's the problem. If it's not optimized properly, and if they don't put these pages in there, they don't have these special forces troops that are doing the heavy lifting, guess what? Guess what? Nobody's going to find that website. They're not going to find it. They're going to find your competitors. And then your competitor is going to have the $1 million a month foundation, and you're going to not have the $1 million a month foundation. And you're going to be like, oh, crap, now I got to go find other ways to generate leads, which, again, for the third time, great. Go generate all the other leads you can, but why not build the foundation? All right. The pages have to send the right kind of signals, okay? So you've got these pages, you've got the troops, you put them into the battle, but the pages have to be optimized properly, okay? So you have to send signals to Google to let it know where and what that page is relevant for, okay? So the signals are gonna be sent in the form of these things, the URL, the directory, the headers, the content, and the image names I'm going to show you what this looks like. Let me go back to this over here. We'll go to the service area pages as an example, and I'll show you what this looks like. So here's a service area directory. Let's go to Claremont this time, just for fun. And here's what you'll see. Service areas Claremont. Now this is what we call a service area main page, and then it's got sub pages that come off it for different specific kinds of things that people are searching for, whether it's bathtub, full shower. If we keep going down, tub to shower, step through, walk-in, tubs. So let's look at this one right here, tub to shower. And here's what you need to see right here. Okay, I'm gonna toggle. Okay, signals are sent in the form of the page URL. Okay, here's the URL right here. Look at the signal. We have a service area directory, toggle, directory. Whoops. So the directory says that this is a service area page. That's important. Google needs to know what kind of page this is. We have to tell it. You'd be shocked how often I see service area pages or blog pages that exist, but they're not in the right directory. So Google kind of shrugs his shoulders and throws his hands up in the air and goes, I don't even know what this crap is. Boom, it's not getting ranked for jack squat because it's not optimized properly. It exists, but it's not optimized properly. It's like sending troops into the battle that don't have any weapons, don't have any training, that don't have any ammunition. They're going to get destroyed. Okay, so we've got to make sure that they're properly armed. Okay, so then here's the geo keyword pair. Boom, geo keyword pair. Now here's a picture of a what is this? A shower. Watch this. If I hit save image as, it's going to tell me what the name of this is. Whoops, that's a bad example. Embarrassing, Rich. That is not how that's supposed to look. Let's go back over here to, well, where's the other one we looked at? Yeah, right here. I think this one is going to just give us a better example. Save image as. Okay, now we got it right. Sugarman's Bath, tub to shower conversions, Chula Vista, California, properly optimized image. Then you'll also see down here, we've got it optimized in the content. And you'll also see that we've got it optimized down here in the actual headers and in the content. Okay, and if you go back over here, you'll see signals are sent in the form of page URL, directories, headers, content, image, etc. Look, I don't want to take a lot of time and train you on the finer points of this. I just need you to know that it needs to be done properly. And here's what you need to know. Most of the time when we see these pages exist, so you'll see that there's 30 blog pages on this one, no service area pages, that's a problem. Here's another example where a company had 12 blog pages and 47 service area pages. So that looks good. That seems promising, but here's what you need to know. 30% of the websites with enough special forces troops are properly geo keyword optimized. So in stated differently, 70% of the time when they have these pages, they're not optimized properly. So Google's not giving them any traction. They don't have any SEO juice, and you lose. You still lose. So you thought, well, wait a second, I'm paying somebody, an SEO company, to put these troops, so to speak, into my website, but they're not working. Well, here's why they're not working, because they're not optimized properly, okay? All right, we're gonna pause down here for just a second, and we're gonna tell you about two more of our partner sponsors, then we'll hit the, what do you call it? The finishing kick of this webinar. All right, I'm gonna launch another poll. Here we go, and I'm going to tell you about Active Prospect. This is a really cool company. This is kind of nerdy stuff, but this is the kind of nerdy stuff that you need to know about and you need to be taking action on. Active Prospect is a content-based marketing platform that combines capturing consent, which is going to be really big come January 2025 with the TCPA rules that are coming into play. So it's going to capture consent, and it's got sophisticated routing and decision-making protocols for that lead. So it's going to check that lead to make sure it's a good lead, and it's going to route it to the right person on your team, depending on certain factors that you identify. Helps your company save on wasted spending, complies with ever-changing regulations, and it helps you to manage your leads in a much better way, okay? Plus, you can easily detect and reject duplicate leads, reduce junk leads and returns, and improve lead quality overall. It's going to save you a ton of money. So if you're buying any kinds of leads or getting leads from any third party, this is a must-have service. So I want you to look at this and go to activeprospect.com. There's more to it than this than I can give you in this short overview, but you can listen on podcast number 1853. Just make a note, 1853 from October 4th, earlier this month. I talked to these folks over at Active Prospect. We went through the whole thing. Here's how it works. Here's what it does. And I came away from that discussion going, holy crap, this is a no-brainer. If you don't use this service, number one, you're dumb. Number two, you're putting your company in jeopardy. Number three, you're spending way more money on leads because you're getting a bunch of crap leads that you could be filtering out using this service. It's very inexpensive to use. The ROI on it is going to be anywhere from 10 to 30x in most cases. Okay, so that is Active Prospect. Let's go to Zero. Okay, Zero, this is cool stuff. There's podcast number 1839 from September 20th. If you want to listen more about this. It's an AI-powered sales coaching tool that records, transcribes, and analyzes your field sales conversations. It's going to show your reps and the leadership of your sales team what's working in the field and where they're missing opportunities. It's going to help outside sales reps analyze their speaking patterns, identify opportunities for growth, learn new sales techniques, request feedback. And they've got this really cool thing with Zero. Here's what it's going to do. It's going to aggregate all this data that's coming in from your sales team. It's going to point out where they're doing good, where they're not doing good, but then it's going to feed them each salesperson. It's going to aggregate specific to their needs of what they're good at and what they're not good at. Every day it's going to send them information and clips that they can listen to from themselves and from other reps, showing them how to do things where they're doing things wrong and how to do it right. It's really, really cool. So check this out, Zero.ai, SIRO.ai. By the way, I'll be hanging out with these folks at Top Golf at Top 500 next week. If you're going to be there, love to see you there. Okay, so there's the poll. Thank you so much for participating. And let's get into the home stretch of today's webinar. All right, so we just talked about putting special forces troops in so that you're going to get a better traction from your SEO. You have to have the pages. They have to be geo keyword optimized. And they have to be optimized properly in the different ways that we talked about briefly. But also, you would think, okay, I've done all that, so these pages are good to go. We're going to kick some butt and take some names. Not necessarily. The pages have to be engaging, okay? Google is going to monitor how people interact with the content. So here's the problem. If you've got SEO pages, special forces pages, service area pages, blog pages that were written by some kind of, blog page writing dudes from India or some crappy company somewhere that are just sort of churning out content, or heaven forbid, using AI to write nonsense bullcrap content, here's what's going to happen. People are going to go to those pages because Google's going to go, oh, look, here's a page that's geo keyword optimized. And oh, look, it's got all the right signals. Great. And it's going to send people to that page. And then Google's going to watch person after person after person after person, look at it and go, this is dumb, and hit the back button. And after about a month of seeing people hit the back button, Google's going to go, you know what, this is stupid. I'm not sending people to this page anymore, because here's why. It's nonsense, bullcrap stuff that people don't actually want. Why on earth would Google continue to send people to crappy, stupid pages that are not interesting, not relevant, and not engaging? And the answer is Google would not do that. And you've got to understand the content. The actual what you're saying on the pages of your website is hugely important. The content has to be relevant to the search, okay? So whatever they're searching for, they come to that page, it better be on that same topic. And you think, well, that seems obvious. Yeah, it's obvious, and also it's done wrong a lot. It has to be interesting and engaging. Also what we call diggable. Diggable means steers visitors to additional relevant content on your website. So this is going to be done by putting links on your pages to other things. So right here, you'll see tub to shower conversions. You'll see fabulous reviews. As you scroll down on this page, you can see all kinds of different things. Rock solid warranties, 4-step approach. This is all making this page diggable. We're helping people find more information. And then if you get all the way to the bottom, you'll see over here, we've got, oh, guess what? Popular posts. Reluctant to choose our reveal series over real tile, shower specialists versus general contractors, who's better? These are all things that are going to help people make an informed decision about remodeling their bathroom. And this is really important stuff, okay? So web pages must be engaging. I'd like to say that this is the single biggest problem that I see with websites, and that is not true, because the single biggest problem I see with websites is that they don't have any special forces troops at all. And if they do, they're not optimized properly. So nobody's even having a chance to see if the content's any good on there. So that's all relevant. But here's what you need to know now, okay? You think, oh, well, I've got a shortcut here. Here's my shortcut. Forget this SEO nonsense, because this is bull crap, because it never works. I've been paying agencies for 10, 15, 20 years, and nobody's seemed to figure this crap out. Reason, they're not doing it right, okay? I just showed you how to do it. If they're doing it right, it will work, okay? But you think, fine, I'm not going to do that. I've got a shortcut. I'm just going to buy ads, Google AdWords, pay-per-click. That's going to be my shortcut. I'll place bids for ads. People will now show up on my website, and that's my workaround. Okay, did you ever notice that everybody complains and bitches and moans about how that their pay-per-click doesn't work very well? You don't know the number one reason why pay-per-click is not working very well? It's because when you send people to the page from the pay-per-click ad that you paid, okay, so boom, you paid, it's guaranteed it's going to show up there a certain amount. And now what? People click on it. Now what? They go to your page. Now what? Well, if that page isn't written well and it's not relevant to the search, it doesn't scratch the itch, it's not interesting and engaging and relevant, it's not diggable, guess what? People are going to hit the back button and Google's going to say, oh, I don't care how much you bid for this pay-per-click ad. I'm not sending people to this nonsense bullcrap page that you're sending people to. This is stupid. I'm going to send people to pages that they actually want to be on and that they're going to actually find what they're looking for. You got to realize that Google's entire business model, whether it's organic search or paid search or Google guaranteed, Google business profile, the four areas that we talked about, here's what you got to realize first and foremost. If you don't realize this, everything else doesn't matter. It's nonsense and it's irrelevant. Here's what you need to understand. Google's entire business model is dependent upon people finding what they're searching for, whether that's organic, whether that's pay-per-click, whether that's Google guaranteed, whether that's Google business profile, to list the four things again that are the foundation of what is supposed to be your $1 million a month before you put your foot on the floor. If you don't have good content on your website, you're going to lose to companies that do. It's just that simple. And I want you to know something. It's not automatic that companies that are writing the stuff for you that's going on your website are going to write good, interesting, relevant, engaging, diggable content. Most of them are not. And you know why they're not? Because they're not marketing companies. They don't understand how to write stuff that hits the mark, that moves the needle, that engages the prospects. It's the most important thing. You might be thinking, and I'm just going to kind of preemptively jump into your brain here, and you think, oh, okay, yeah, I see this 50, 50, 50, 50, 200 leads. It's going to be $1 million a month. I don't know if I really believe you on that, Rich. Well, here's what you need to believe. You need to believe that if you've got the right kinds of pages on your website, geo keyword, service area pages, blog pages, you're going to get the leads. You're going to get them from organic. You're also going to get them from Google Business Profile, because Google Business Profile is going to be hugely influenced by the kind of stuff that you're posting to your Google Business Profile, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But also on your pay-per-click, I want you to know the biggest reason your pay-per-click and your Google guaranteed is not working the way you want it to is because the pages that the people are landing on are not doing their job. They're not. And if they do their job, boom leads, boom sales, boom $1 million a month foundation, okay? Let's keep going. Part of this is what we call identity. It's a whole different webinar that I don't have time to go through today. You can look this up on our podcast, Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast. Search for things that have to do with identity. I've got some podcasts coming out that have amalgamated a bunch of identity content into one mega podcast. This will be coming out in November. It's going to be like 3.5 hours long. It's just like identity out the wazoo. But here's what it is. It's helping people understand who you are, how you're different, why you're better, and what they can expect when they do business with you. Okay. It's communicating and telling your story and helping people understand a case of why you're better, building a case like for a jury, why you're different and better than your competitors. This is what your content on your website should be doing. And if it's not, then you just look like everybody else. And it's kind of a coin flip. Maybe they'll do business with you, maybe they won't. Think about this. You ever walked into the mall back when the mall was a thing? Remember, look, I'm 55. I grew up when the mall was a thing. And you go in, you're like, hey, I'm going to buy some shoes. You walk into the mall, right? Which shoe store do you go to first when you walk into the mall to buy new shoes? The answer is whichever one happens to be closest to the door that you happen to walk in to that mall. Okay, so you go, oh, look, here's Foot Locker. You walk in, you see a bunch of shoes. They're on the wall. They've got running shoes. They've got, basketball shoes, whatever kinds of shoes they've got. And then in the middle is a bunch of clothes. Okay, and here's what you'll see. Bunch of different kinds of shoes, bunch of different prices for those shoes. Then you think, okay, well, I'm going to go see what other shoe stores have. So you walk out and you go to a different shoe store. You go to the Finish Line, maybe, okay, back in the day, right? So you've been to Foot Locker, now we go to the Finish Line. Here's what you're going to find when you walk into that store. About the same selection of shoes, about the same prices. Boom. You think, well, let me just go see maybe a different store. So you go to another store called Champs, okay? So we've been to Finish Line, we've been to Foot Locker, now we go into Champs, and here's what you see. Guess what? About the same shoe selection, about the same prices. Question, who do you buy from? Answer, wherever you happen to be when you finally decided you wanted to buy the shoes and that everybody was about the same. You just buy from that store. It's just random because it's all the same crap, same shoes, same selection, same prices. Who cares who you buy it from? Just give me the shoes so I can get out of here, right? And if your website just looks like everybody else's, you don't have an identity and nobody knows who you are, how you're different, why you're better, what they can expect when they do business with you, guess what? You just look like everybody else. You just look like freaking Champs or Foot Locker. Why should somebody buy from you? And the answer is, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Just buy from whoever. They're all the same, apparently, according to what you chose to tell them on your website. What I'm talking about is, no, let's come over here and let's go to RooSmart and go, okay, well, let's look at reputation. Let's see, our resources here. Yeah, let's go to Jim's Journal. Let's go to the blog. By the way, Brian Bauman, if you're listening, I did get a new computer. I just haven't got it set up yet. My computer's running slow. Come on. Well, I'm not going to be able to show this to you because my stupid computer won't pull this up. Suffice it to say, the content is engaging. It's good. And I wish I could show it to you, but I can't. I don't have time to wait for that. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Here's what you need to know. Almost none of the web content that we audit, almost none of it, almost none is relevant, interesting, and engaging. Almost none. It's just all boilerplate copy. Because here's what happens. You know this is true. You've been through this process 55 times in your career. You hire the website company. You're like, okay, I need a website. They're like, hey, look, we can make it look cool. You're like, awesome, looks cool. Because they're using a template that they got off the internet. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Actually, there is a lot wrong with that, but they're going to make it look cool. But then they're going to come to you at some point during that process, and they're going to say to you, okay, what do you want on the pages now? You're going to be like, I don't know. I came to you because you're the freaking website company. I don't know what to say. I know how to sell roofs. I don't know how to build websites, and I don't know what kind of copy to put on a website. And they go, oh yeah, okay, no problem, we'll do that. And then they just go to other websites that they wrote, or they just go to other websites that they can find randomly on the internet. And they just find stuff. They don't know how to write this crap, and that's why it doesn't work. That's why everybody's so pissed and upset about their website and their SEO all the time, is because they've got this foundation of crappy content that doesn't work. It doesn't move the needle, and Google knows that. And Google looks at it and says, people don't even like this crap, and it doesn't send people to it. Pretty simple. Okay, now we're going to shift gears here. Let's talk about Google Business Profile. This is your second set of 50 leads per month or more. And this is the map section, okay? So you go and you search. I showed you this earlier. Actually, it came up, Sugarman's Bath. Boom, here they are. They're beating out these other ones, which is awesome because that's what we want. We want to beat them out. Then if you click on it, here's what you'll see. This is the Google Business Profile. This is actually the profile, okay? So if I click on it, you'll see here, there's some sponsored ones here, so that's good, Google guaranteed. That's something we're gonna talk about in just a minute. But here it is, Sugarman's Bath. And here's what you'll see, overview, services, reviews, updates, and photos. Right here under updates, if you click on updates, here's what you're going to find. You can post blogs and you can post service area pages to your Google Business Profile. Guess what? The more geo keyword optimized the content is that you're posting to your Google Business Profile, the more likely Google is to show you for searches that are relevant to that geo keyword pair. This is something that people don't know. They're like, oh, we're just going to hope we show up in the Google Business Profile. Trust me. The more geo keyword oriented the stuff is that you're posting under updates, the more likely this is going to work. We've had tremendous success with this. I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. Now, here's the formula for winning SEO. Identity-based website with 30 to 50 core pages. Now, let's say they add 100 troops per year. These are the Special Forces troops, service area pages, and blog pages. Each 100 pages that you add should be about 50 organic quotable leads per month after a year. Now, it takes some time for Google to index these pages, to start showing these pages, to decide if it likes these pages. But every time you add 100 pages of Special Forces troops, service area pages, and blog pages, every time you add 100, that should be roughly about 50 organic quotable leads per month after a year. Now, here's the great news about those troops. They just sit there on your website forever, drawing leads to your business, okay? Now, it's also gonna add about 50 Google Business Profile quotable leads, okay? So there's 100. So if you add 100 pages to your website over the course of a year, that's going to allow you to get 100 leads, 50 from organic quotable leads per month and 50 from Google Business Profile. By the way, these estimates could be very, very low, and I'll show you some examples of that, okay? Now, what if you added 350 pages instead of 100 pages? Well, it's gonna be 175. It's about half, same ratio, about 175 quotable leads per what? Per month. 175 quotable leads per month if you do what I'm showing you here. This is why this is a foundation. This is why you need to get started as sooner rather than later. Plus, it's also going to give you a butt ton of Google Business Profile quotable leads. Okay, so if you want look, here's the number. Remember, 200 quotable leads per month is it's a $1 million a month foundation. And if you go all in on SEO, and instead of adding 100 pages per year, you add 350 pages per year, which is one of our higher level packages of our SEO, you're going to get there very, very quickly. You will easily exceed 200 quotable leads per month and a $1 million a month foundation just on SEO alone if you go all in. It's just a matter of how many troops do you want to put in how many battles. If you go back to that map of Iwo Jima and Midway and whatever the other cities were, it's like you can go fight in as many of these cities as you want. Especially if you're in a place where there's a lot of different cities. Let's say you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Dallas-Fort Worth has 200 suburb cities. 200. You could optimize for all of them. You could put 5 troops into 200 different cities. That would be 1,000 pages, which would net you along the lines of 500 quotable leads per month just from organic, not including the Google Business Profile, which would be tremendous. I mean, you can really blow this stuff up if you know how to do it, okay? Great thing, like I said, troops never leave the battle. They're there forever. Now let's review the plan. 50 quotable leads from organic search, 50 quotable leads from Google Business Profile, which is part of SEO, 50 quotable leads from pay-per-click, 50 quotable leads from LSA, which is Google Guarantee. That's what we're going to talk about briefly for the last 5 minutes of this webinar before we go, okay? So don't hang up, stick around. I know it's like, oh crap, I got other stuff to do. I got to eat lunch, I got to do whatever. Just give me 5 more minutes, okay? 200 quotable leads per month. All right, so if I go and I type roofers near me, here's what comes up first. Google Guaranteed. I live in Utah, so here's what we've got. Utah Roofing Pros, the roofing guys, okay? And then below that, sponsored, Roofing Pups, and what is this, Jordan River Roofing. We want to also show up here. So we want to show up in the Google 3-pack, the map section, that's Google Business Profile. We want to show up in the organic, which I showed you earlier. We spent a lot of time and attention doing that, but we also want to show up. What if we showed up in Google Guaranteed and in the sponsored and in the organic and in the map? Boom, I'm going to use this old phrase. Some of you who've known me for a long time are going to get a little chuckle out of this. You will literally monopolize your marketplace. You'll just own everything. And why not? It's funner to win. Okay, pay-per-click, PPC, paid search, AdWords, it's all the same thing. You might have heard it called by different words. Budgets usually need to be around $5,000 a month to start. Now that's going to be for a reasonable size market, top 100 market. If you're in a smaller market, I've got a wonderful client, Clemens Home Solutions in Muncie, Indiana. It's a smaller market. We don't need that much to start. But in most markets, you're going to need about $5,000 ad budget to start, okay? Most product categories in top 100 cities, they can handle about $8,000 to $20,000 a month in monthly spend. Here's what I recommend. Spend as much as you possibly can. Okay, the lead cost is going to range from 100 to 300, usually about 150 to 180 tends to be average. Again, this is for what? Quotable leads. Quotable leads. This isn't for nonsense, bullcrap stuff that just comes in. It's quotable leads. Now, success is going to depend on the ad creation and on the landing page. I just spent about 5 minutes ranting 5 minutes ago about the content of the website needs to be amazing. If it's not, it's going to be a problem. Okay, that's pay-per-click. All right, local service area, LSA, also called Google Guaranteed. It's the same thing. Verification process, you have to be reputable, you have to be licensed, you have to be insured, you have to go through this process. This is something that we help our clients do. It's difficult, it's a pain in the butt, it takes time, usually a few weeks. You can do it yourself if you want. We can help you do it. We just do it as part of our service. Ads are placed at the top of the page, like I showed you a moment ago. You have to maintain your status over time. Okay, lead costs are going to be, again, same thing, $100 to $300 in most cases. Typically 150 to 180 is what we found, right? So let me give you an example here as we wrap up. This is a client that started in August with us. They started in August. They started buying, we're redoing their website. We're doing SEO for them. And also we're doing LSA and Google pay-per-click. And here's what we found for the month of September 2022. These guys sell window siding and roofing. They're up in New Jersey, okay? Google and Bing pay-per-click spend was $12,786, and you can see how it's broken down, Google and Bing. Our management fee was 15% of that, so it was $1,918. Pay-per-click quotable leads, 74, cost $199. By the way, this is the first full month. They have since, for this month, for the month of October, they added $20,000 to that budget. Why? Because they love this. Why wouldn't you love $199 quotable leads Let's get more of those. Let's spend more. And then also Google Guarantee. We manage this for them. They spent 8,372. It's based on a bidding process. Our management fee for that is nothing because we just do it for free because they're buying this other stuff from us. 77 quotable leads last month. 77. Cost per lead, $109. Okay. Then also the SEO, we just started. Okay. So we haven't had a chance to do very much, but we got 23 leads. I know that's less than 50, but that 50 is going to be after a year. This is just the first freaking month, okay? Give us a break. 23, we're just getting started. SEO costs $191 against the $4,400 spend. The total of all that, 174 quotable leads, total spend of $27,000. Let's do some math on that. 27,476 divided by 174 leads. That is $157.91 per what? Quotable lead. This is how you do it. This is $1 million. Well, it's not quite $1 million a month foundation because you got to get it to 200. But maybe you can do it on 174. Maybe you have a higher closing ratio. Maybe you have a higher average ticket so you can get to that $1 million sooner. Okay. Now, last thing, lead conversion engine. This is critical. These are the steps that have to be in place to maximize and optimize what we've just talked about. Converting leads to sits and then the sits to sales. Now, I'm just going to go over this briefly with you, but I want you to know this is important. I'll probably do a webinar coming up in a month or so on just the lead conversion engine, okay? But just to give you an overview, you got to have your speed to lead protocols in place. If you're not getting in touch with your leads immediately, that's dumb. You need to fix that. Number two, you got to have a lead confirmation process. If you're not confirming your leads as they come in, that's dumb. You need to fix that. Next, pre-positioning, sending out emails, texts, using AI to be in touch with people before you show up at the appointment. It's a lot higher frequency of contact than you probably think. We want to let them know what we do in terms of no pressure sales. We want to let them know what to expect when we show up. There's lots of different things that we're going to drip on them over the next 12 to 36 hours between the time they set the appointment and the time we actually show up. And you might hear that and think, well, that's aggressive. That sounds like a lot of touch points. Yeah, because we're trying to sell $17,000 to $30,000 stuff, and we need to make sure that people actually want us in their home, understand who we are, how we're different, why we're better. That's identity. And they're welcoming us into their homes as a welcome guest, not an unwanted pest, okay? Also, next part of this, sales training and management. We recommend Top Rep for that. Also, Sales Transformation Group. Proper use of financing. I'm huge on this topic. Again, no time to cover it today. Just know it's an important part of your lead conversion engine. Incentives using something like destination motivation. Those are vacation giveaways, can help you close more deals. And then a brand ambassador program, very, very critical because this is somebody that you're going to send in after the job who's going to get, guess what? Social proof, online reviews, photos of your jobs that you did, and photos of the customers holding up signs saying that they're 100% satisfied with you. Okay. All of this is part of the lead conversion engine. Very, very critical stuff. But again, that's for next time. All right. We're going to wrap it up now. Here's what I will just type them into the questions thing. Meanwhile, if you'd like for us to do a website audit, just go ahead over to level10audit.com. That's kind of the starting point. If you'd like for us to help you get moving on some of this stuff, you can use the QR code. Also want you to realize that if you go there, it's going to ask you to set a time to talk to us about your website audit. And because it uses a calendar, you'll notice that we're at the end of the month. There's only a few dates available. If you just click the little arrow thing to November, then it'll open up more slots for you there, okay? I've seen that we've already had a ton of these come in during the call from earlier when I put this on there. So if you want to get a good time slot as soon as possible, to get in there and do that. All right, I'm going to answer questions now, and I will answer questions for as long as you stick around to ask them, and then we'll be done. So let me see, questions. How to avoid copy content for each service area page? That is a great question. It is tedious, it is annoying, and it sucks. Here's what we're talking about, not having duplicate content on your service area pages because they all are very similar, but they have to be written differently, okay? And we have to go in there and we have to meticulously write them. We've got a staff of copywriters that do this for us. They've got tools that we use to make sure that they're not just copying, to make sure that there's no duplicate content. Here's the answer. It's tedious and it sucks, but you have to do it. Okay. Any other questions? Let's see. Questions. Let me see if I can get this disconnected from the console. Can I receive a recording of this webinar? Yes, it'll be emailed to you later today. I've got some more questions. Wow, this little box that it gives me is hugely annoying, but I will get to them. Just give me a second here. Give me a second. I have trouble understanding why these pages won't compete with each other aside from this. Sorry, I've got a really crappy window that I'm reading this on for some reason. Oh, there we go. Boom. Now I can read it. I have trouble understanding why these pages won't compete with each other aside from the service area. How is that content different? You got to understand what is happening here. So I just said that the content has to be unique and different, and it's just a pain in the butt and it sucks, but you have to do it. Okay. So let's put that as an answer and just believe me that it's possible and that we can do that. Now, how are they not competing with each other? Because you got to understand how Google is working. If you're in Chula Vista searching for tub to shower conversion, then Google is going to send you to the Chula Vista page, not to the Escondido page. So we've got to have different pages for different people that are searching different things in different places. Okay, so it's like this matrix of people searching for things and things that we have that we want to be the search result, and we've got to create pages for all those. They won't compete with each other. They'll actually be very specifically fine-tuned for each individual search and person. All right, what are my options for a $2 to $5 million contractor? This is exactly what I just talked about, Matt. Thanks for asking that question. You would still want to get a website that is that tells your story, that has identity. You'd still want to start probably depending on how small you are. So if you're more like in the $1 to $2 million range, you might want to just start with pay-per-click. Okay, you're going to get a quicker return on investment. And if you're a smaller company, that's something that you probably are worried about because, hey, I've got a very limited amount of marketing dollars. I got to get as much budget as possible. In fact, here I can show you on the screen. I've got this right here. If you got $1 million, here's your $10,000 a month budget. That's 10% of sales. Okay, excuse me, it's 12% of sales. You got a $10,000 budget, then 8,000 probably needs to go to pay-per-click and LSA, 0 to SEO, and then $2,000 for whatever other things you want to do. So Matt, this is specifically for you. Now, let me just go one step further. Glad I have these slides handy here. Okay, so now if you're a $3 million company, guess what? Oh, okay, well, you got a $30,000 a month budget. That's 12%. I'm penciling in 12%. You can move that a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on you. But now I'm going $15,000 pay-per-click and LSA. SEO, $5,000 a month. You need to start building that foundation, putting those troops into those battles. And you've also got $10,000 a month left over for whatever other stuff you want to do. You want to buy some leads from somebody like contractor appointments? Boom, go for it. You want to do some home shows or some events? Boom, go for it. You want to buy some TV or radio? Boom, go for it. Whatever you want to do it with this 10,000. But get your foundation built so that you've got this $1 million a month thing happening every time, right? Now let's go a little bit higher here, $5 million in sales. Now you got a $50,000 a month marketing budget. Boom, we're gonna bump this up to 20, 25,000, something like that. Why? Because we're gonna spend as much as we possibly can to get these juicy, low cost, non-competitive leads. At a certain level, you're gonna max out, okay? There's just not gonna be any leads left to get, but that's probably gonna be about, like I said earlier, $8,000 to $20,000 per product. So if you're doing roofs and siding, there's even more available. Then you're going to jack this SEO up probably about 7,000, so you can put more troops in than at the $5,000 level. But look, you still got $23,000 left over. This is at a $5 million mark. I'll just keep going on this for fun. At $10 million in sales, guess what? Now you got a $100,000 a month budget. You're going to probably max this out at about 35, assuming you got a couple products. Maybe you're going to hit $10,000 on SEO. You're going to put more troops into more battles. Boom, good. And you still got 55,000 over here to do your radio, TV, your aggregated leads, contractor leads, do your, what do you call it? The Clipper magazine, Valpak, door knocking, whatever you want to spend that money on. Okay, does that help, Matt? Hopefully that helps. Okay, let's keep going here. I've got more questions. I cannot hear anything. Well, that's a long time ago. Let's see, starting a brand new bathroom, starting a new brand for a bathroom only company. What should I budget for a level 10 contractor approved website? Answer, about $20,000 to $25,000. Like I said, we're an elite provider. We work with elite companies. And you say, well, I don't know if I can spend that much. Great, do this. Build a cheap website somewhere else, bring it to us. Let's do the pay-per-click. We'll write some content so that it converts well, build it up. Then we can build the website and start doing the SEO for you. If it's a brand new company, you're smaller, maybe that's a better way to do it. But either which way, reach out to us and we can talk to you about your specific situation, because there's a lot of different things that could go into that. All right, let's keep going here. By the way, I like how you said level 10 contractor approved. How do you optimize Google guaranteed LSA? We have been told that you have limited capability to optimize. That is true. You have limited amount of capability to optimize. That's why you notice in the presentation, I didn't lean heavy into LSA. You should be buying all the LSA you can get your hands on at a reasonable price, but it is going to be limited by how much Google's going to let you buy, and you don't have a lot of control over that. So you just have to kind of go with the flow. So you can grow your organic quotable leads by just adding more optimized pages like we talked about. That's why I showed you the example. You can get 350, 1,000 pages. You can be getting 500 quotable leads a month, but your LSA is going to max out. Okay, so it's a good thing to do. It's an obvious thing to do. It's a smart thing to do, but it does have a limited amount of impact, especially as you grow, into the 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 million range. It's going to be a increasingly smaller percentage of what you're doing. Okay, pay-per-click also is going to max out at some point. Okay, next. Thanks for all the questions, by the way. Example, 5 services in 10 service areas. You suggest we have 50 pages. 5 services in 10 service. No, I don't suggest you have 50 pages. I suggest you have 250 pages, because you're going to want about 5 pages per geo keyword pair. Okay, so when you say we have, by the way, this is Shannon. She's left, so hopefully she'll hear this on the recording. But if you've got 5 services in 10 service areas, that's what's the math? 50 geo keyword pairs. So you've got to create pages for all 50 geo keyword pairs. Now, you don't have to do it all at once. You're going to have to prioritize, start with the most important, the biggest, fattest apple on the lowest branch of the tree, and then the next, then the next, then the next. So it's going to take time. Over time, you can get that done. But you've got 50 geo keyword pairs. You're going to need roughly about 5 pages, 5 troops for every geo keyword pair. So that's 250 pages, not 50. It's even worse than you thought. But here's the good news. Your competitors probably aren't doing that. So boom, you can destroy them by just doing it. All right, next question. How to avoid, no, we already talked about that. I'm having trouble understanding why these pages won't compete. I already talked about that. Okay, I think that's it. Anybody else have a question? Type it in now or forever hold your peace. Are videos on your YouTube channel a good idea, specific to your service and cities you service? Bathroom remodeling, Toledo, Ohio, for example. Yes, absolutely. Anything that you do that is geo keyword optimized is going to be good at driving traffic. By the way, Tim, thank you for asking this question, because you bring up a really, really good point. Anytime you do anything, always think in terms of geo keyword pairs and geo keyword optimization. So yes, if you're going to put a video on your YouTube channel, create one for bathroom remodeling to Toledo, Ohio, then also create another one for kitchen remodeling, Toledo, Ohio. If you do kitchens, if you don't do that, it'd be dumb, et cetera, and then different cities, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, makes sense? Great question, Tim, love it. If we offer multiple services, would you suggest we create a service area page for each products in the service? Yes, I already covered that. All right, I think that's it. I think we're running out of questions here. I'm willing to stay. All right, I think that's it. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today and staying a little bit late for some questions. That was nice. And you know what? We'll talk to you, I don't know, next time. Talk to you soon. Thanks.